Whenever I record videos, I always try to make a fun story, and this is certainly a fun story because I don't know if you guys remember, but last year or the year before, I can't remember exactly, fans of Tekken were actually wanting Harada to make a Waffle House stage in Tekken 8. So, basically, for those of you guys that don't know, Katsuhiro Harada is basically the big boss man behind the Tekken franchise. And who doesn't know Tekken in the fighting game space? I mean, it's got its 8th mainline game that came out last year, has really been doing incredibly well. The game looks great, it plays really well, and above all else, has been, like, you know, one of the go-to fighting franchises, especially on PlayStation consoles, for the longest time, keeping in mind that the original Tekken did come out on the PS1. Now, what the idea was that people were actually, so Harada actually asked on Twitter, what kind of stage would you guys want to see in Tekken? And a lot of people were bringing up Waffle House. And for those of you guys that don't know about Waffle House, well, Waffle House is where people go to be A, incredibly drunk, and B, to beat the living daylights out of each other, to the point where you kind of think that all Waffle House employees have had some training in like martial arts or being able to beat everyone up of double the size and height and weight of any particular Waffle House employee with a goddamn steel like chair, basically, or a bench, or whatever you want to use. And so apparently Harada, or the Tekken boss man himself, wants to actually add that Waffle House stage now, but apparently Waffle House is ignoring his calls, so potentially there might just be an unofficial version called Hustle House as a tribute stage, rather than actually being able to use the Waffle House branding, which is very, very interesting to say the least. And I love how we have King on the right here of all characters to have. I think when it comes to Waffle House fights, I would have rather used a character that's more in the boxing range rather than wrestling, but you know, I mean, take it for what you can get in terms of what character you use. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, Waffle House is a US restaurant chain that's ignoring his collaboration requests. So this happened only last year when he asked his followers why so many of them were asking him to add a Tekken stage set in Waffle House. And basically people okay, how do you explain to someone who's never lived or been in the US, doesn't know anything about Waffle House, and explain why he needs to put Waffle House in his fighting game? Because again, fighting and Waffle House just go together like peanut butter and jelly, some might say. I mean, peanut butter and jelly is an interesting flavor, all things considered. Just not something that I would have all the time, but it is what it is. And anyway, so all of this was basically going on Twitter, and then a year later, Harada updated players on the situation, as spotted by Automaton, okay, interesting, saying that he's trying his best to contact Waffle House for a potential collaboration, but they aren't replying. And so he says, to be honest, within the bounds of what I can say, I fully understand you guys' request. That precisely why I had considered taking on this challenge, Harada wrote. In fact, I had already been thinking about it quite a while ago, over the past year or more. Interesting how he asked about why would you want, like, what the heck is Waffle House, basically. I've actually tried to make contact through several different channels. However, and this is my purely my own speculation, I suspect that the lack of response may be due to the fact that the project I'm known for revolves around fighting themed video games. By the way, no response equals very rare case. So he says, if we can't get that house name license, how about we call it Hustle House Stage? Doesn't that make sense to everyone? With replying to a man by the name of Andres Lopez, who says, still waiting for my Waffle House stage at Harada Tekken. Harada suggested that two players that a compromise could be found by creating a stage based on the restaurant similar to Waffle House, but with a different name, such as Harada's suggestion of Hustle House. If using a different name or format is acceptable, as long as the core message is maintained, then I will be willing to seriously reconsider and explore this again. Harada drew attention in February when he criticized his fan and people like them for complaining about a returning character's updated appearance after DLC fighter Anna Williams was revealed with a new red tinted hairdo. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Man, people really don't like the change of, like, you know, character designs and things like that. Because whenever I'm more annoyed when, like, when I was playing Blaze Blue, for example, that I couldn't spam Tager's main attacks, his magnetism attacks, where he grabs the opponent and then just like jumps in the air and then crushes him to the floor. And you could keep spamming that attack in the earlier in the earlier Blaze Blue games, and then mechanically you just can't do it in Central Fiction and I think Chrono Phantasma Extend, but you could still do it in Chrono Phantasma. So I mean, that's more of like a how would I say, that's more of a gameplay related change that annoyed me, less of a, you know, aesthetic change. But yeah, people really love, you know, some of the characters. Anna Williams, I'm pretty sure, is actually very popular. But yeah, basically some of the responses that he got regarding that was, you threaten to quit if she isn't brought back. You complain. Oh, actually no, this is what Harada said to the people who were complaining about Anna Williams's hairdo, basically. So what he said was, you threaten to quit if she isn't brought back. You complain the moment she is brought back. You demand that she be reverted after she has been completely redesigned from scratch, including her model and framework. And if she actually were reverted, you'd say that's recycling. Either way, your method of expressing your opinion and the content of your argument is entirely unconstructive, utterly pointless, and above all, disrespectful to other Anna fans who genuinely look forward to her. That is, I think, one of the greatest like just backhanded slaps you could ever, like a pimp slap straight to like one person complaining about her look. That was like basically the fact that Anna Williams looks slightly different in Tekken 8 compared to previous Tekken games. Yeah, again, I'm pretty sure, I don't actually know the full scope of why people don't like Anna's look in this game specifically, and it seems like from the outside there's only a few people complaining, but I just feel like that's a great way of putting it. So I think if nothing else, Harada at least like almost certainly just like demands respect in that sense for just doing that. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is an incredibly goofy story about the fact that Harada asked the community, hey, what kind of stage do you want to see in Tekken? People said Waffle House. He tries to reach out to Waffle House. They ignore his calls, and then he's like, well, if we can't make a Waffle House, how about we make Hustle House? So that's basically the story in a nutshell. That's basically taken over the past year or so to kind of develop. But hey, I mean, you know what? I'd be absolutely happy with Hustle House. I wonder if there's going to be more updates in this about the story in the near future. With that all being said, however, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Would you actually like to see a Waffle House style stage in Tekken 8? Because I know for a fact I would love to, and if mechanically you could actually use the not resources, but rather the tools of, you know, chairs and stuff within the Waffle House itself to just tear your opponent down, like that would be great. But yeah, with all that being said, however, like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. I'm getting real sleepy and tired. But yeah, I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. And of course, watching till the end of the video is the best thing that you can do to help support the channel. But with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's if I can get enough sleep, that is.